Panera Bread, a 27% jump in its third quarter earnings, raising its full-year guidance. Shares of Panera Bread up 5% plus this morning, up more than 40% in the past year. Here for a CNBC exclusive is Ron Shaich, the co-CEO, founder, executive chairman of Panera Bread, along with Kramer, who joins us here at Post 9. Ron, welcome back. Congratulations on a quarter that I was just talking with Jim. I mean, looking through it, looking for anything to quibble with, whether it's margin targets, transaction growth, check growth, guidance. There's not a lot to quibble with. I mean, your job is to worry. So what's left?
And I do worry. We're feeling great. I mean, this was a superb quarter. We're targeting another superb quarter in quarter four. We're looking at earnings on our targets up 31 to 33% in Q4. We're growing. We're at the high ends of our growth. Our average weekly sales of new stores are at an all-time high. We're feeling good.
All right, Ron, great to see you. Your Coolidge Corner store on Saturday jammed. Took me a few more minutes than I usually like to get my food.
Jim, you should have called. That's a block from my house.
I know it is. That's why I bring it up. It was right down the block from you. Ron, Chipotle goes from 12 to 8 to 4 this year. Buffalo Wild Wings last night goes from 4.7 to 3.8. How come you are able to buck that trend and go higher? What's the secret sauce here?
Jim, it's a stew. We've been at this now for 2 decades as a public company. For the last 10 years, essentially, we've been driving growth through a stew of factors. It's about food, operations. It's about marketing. It's about catering. A whole bunch of things have worked for Panera over the long term. They continue to work. All of our investment, all of our energy is about building long-term competitive differentiation. It continues to succeed. It's not complicated. It's just hard.
How do people know 1 and 1? Everyone knew to order the salad and order the half sandwich. What have you done to be able to make it so the younger demo gets this?
Well, we're basically talking about food that they want. I think, as you know, this is healthy food. There are real options. We're the largest purveyor of antibiotic-free, all-natural chicken in the country. We're talking about a range of organic ingredients. We're talking about food that gets people excited. We had great success this last quarter with our chicken cob with avocado, our BLT with avocado. You know, that's using real avocado. We're not talking about an avocado paste. This stuff matters to people. They get it. They trust people. They trust Panera. This is food you can trust. It's served in an environment that engages people by people that care. It works, Jim. It's been working. That's why we've been the best performing stock in the restaurant universe for the last decade, for the last 2 years, for the last year, and year to date.
Ron, just looking through your sales in the quarter, 6.2% is your comp, and the composition of that is 0.6 transaction growth, 5.6% check growth, 3 percentage points of that is price, and about 2.5% of that is mix. So what of the mix is changing in a way that's allowing you to grow the top line?
That's great, because that's been going on now for quite a long time, and there's often a misunderstanding about mix. Mix is driven by changes in the nature of our business. For example, our catering business has grown 50% on a 2-year growth rate, on a 2-year rate. It's been growing 50%. 2 years of comps throughout this year. That growth changes the mix. It brings up the average check, the average profit per transaction. So that's what shows up in mix. All we're doing is driving pieces of the business that are more profitable for Panera. It's something we've done for a long time. It's something we expect to be able to continue to do. It's not about price. It's about mix of the business.
Well, still, 3% growth in price is pretty significant. How are you able to raise prices in this environment when we've been sort of told and warned about how the consumer is holding up?
Yeah, we have never taken price beyond inflation, and we have been able to, through the recession, essentially to be able to take price to cover inflation. And I think that consumers vote with their wallets. They choose things they consider good value. Good value isn't how cheap it is. It's whether it's worth the money. And what Panera continues to do is try to put out a better and better experience that's worth the money.
Ron, we had a major agricultural problem this year, drought. You're talking about wheat prices going down. You're a huge bakery.
Yeah, well, we're bought forward now for the bulk of next year. We forward buy our wheat. We then ladder it in. We're seeing inflation next year of 2 to 3%, and and we are already prepared to be able to take very modest price increases to accommodate that inflation.
Finally, Ron, you know, we've had a lot of CEOs on as the earnings quarter has gotten underway from both fast casual and QSR. Everyone denies losing share, right? I mean, everybody talks about share shifting around. Well, it's not coming from us. Is the consumer in flux to any degree? Or, I mean, are you stealing? Maybe you're stealing from grocery stores. It's hard to tell.
Well, we continue to see Panera grow. Now, this is not a quarter story. It's not even a one-year story. This has played out over the last decade. People want real food. They want places that feel good to them. They want people that care. And Panera's can take share across a range of competitive options.
What part of the country is growing fastest? We've heard some troublesome anecdotes about the West, Northeast, others say is relatively strong. I mean, does it mirror what's going on in housing, employment?
You know, it's very interesting. We see no material differentiation between various markets. Panera continues to grow and to perform across the country. So I would tell you, it's much more important to look at individual companies and look at how they're performing and whether they have competitive advantage. If they have it, they'll continue to grow. If they don't, in this kind of environment, they're going to be in trouble.
Mr. Sheikh, you pointed out the share price performance that you've had. I see that there's some harvesting of insiders' share positions here. Your co-founder, just over $1 million, they've notified to the market, the chief information officer. Is there a feeling that perhaps the stock might have topped out for the moment?
Oh, I think there's de minimis selling among officers of the company. I think, as you know, I'm the largest individual shareholder, and I haven't sold stock other than, you know, options that are at the point of extinction in the last several years. I think there's nothing material to that. What's that?
Where do you think the stock might go if you're holding on in there? At what point, you know, do you think it would be worth?
You know, I don't ever focus on the stock price. I focus on delivering something that makes a difference to the guests. And frankly, that strategy's worked for Panera for 30 years, and it's certainly worked for me personally. I'm here for the long term. Our management team is here for the long term. What we're focused on is building something of quality. It seems to reward investors when we do so.
Ron, don't be surprised if Jim calls on a Sunday sometime soon.
Too crowded.
Jim,
too crowded.
Give me a call.
Okay, Ron.
Thank you, guys.
Ron Sheikh from Panera. Thanks so much.
All right, we've got some breaking